Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 12, text. Chapter 12, titled Dhruva Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead. Maitreya Uvacha Dhruvam Nivritam Pratibuddhaya Vaishasad Apetamanyum Bhagavan Daneshwaraha Tatragatas Charana Yaksha Kinnare Samstuyamano Nyavadat Kritanjalim. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, Dhruva Maharaj's anger subsided and he completely ceased killing yakshas. When Kubera, the most blessed master of the treasury, learned this news, he appeared before Dhruva. While being worshipped by yakshas, kinnaras and charanas, he spoke to Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands." Text 2. Dhanada uvacha bhobo kshatriyadaya daya pratishto asmite anaga yatvam pita mahadeshad vairam dushtayajam atyaja. The master of the treasury Kubera said, "O sinless son of a Kshatriya, I am very glad to know that under the instruction of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity, although it is very difficult to avoid. I am very pleased with you." Text 3. Na bhavan avadhid yakshan na yaksha bharataram tava kala evahi bhutanam prabhur apyaya bhavayoho. Actually, you have not killed the yakshas, nor have they killed your brother, for the ultimate cause of generation and annihilation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord. Purport. When the master of the treasury addressed him as sinless, Dhruva Maharaj, considering himself responsible for killing so many yakshas, might have thought himself otherwise. Kubera, however, assured him that factually he has not killed any of the yakshas. Therefore, he was not at all sinful. He did his duty as a king as it is ordered by the laws of nature. Nor should you think that your brother was killed by the yakshas, said Kubera. He died or was killed in due course of time by the laws of nature. Eternal time, one of the features of the Lord, is ultimately responsible for annihilation and generation. You are not responsible for such actions. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Next verse also is relevant. We'll read. Aham tvam iti apartadhir ajnanat purushasya hi swapni va bhati atadhyanat yaya bandha viparyayo. Misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of bodily concept of life is a product of ignorance. This bodily concept is cause of repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in the material existence. Purport. The conception of I and you, aham tvam, as separate from each other, due to our forgetfulness of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Person, Krishna, is the central point, and all of us are his part and parcels, just as hands and legs are part and parcels of the whole body. When we actually come to this understanding of being eternally related to the Supreme Lord, this distinction, which is based on the bodily concept of life, cannot exist. The same example can be cited here with the head. The hand is the hand, the leg is the leg. But when both of them engage in service of the whole body, there is no such distinctions as hands and legs. For all of them belong to the whole body, and all the parts working together constitute the whole body. Similarly, when the living entities are in Krishna consciousness, there is no distinction as I and you, because everyone is engaged in the service of the Lord. Since the Lord is absolute, the services are also absolute. Even though the hand is working one way, the leg is working in another way, since the purpose is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are all one. This is not to be confused with the statement by Mayavadi philosopher that everything is one. Real knowledge is hand, leg is leg, body is body, and yet all together are one. As soon as the living entity thinks that he is independent, his conditional material existence begins. The conception of independent existence is therefore like a dream. One has to be in Krishna consciousness, his original position. Then he can be freed from material bondage. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So here we see a new perspective is beginning with Kubera entering the scene. So he says, of course Kubera was very happy that Dhruva Maharaj was following the instruction of his grandfather Swami Manu to give up his enmity against the Yakshas, and he did so, and that pleased Kubera very much. And then he makes this statement: actually you have not killed the Yakshas, nor have they killed your brother, for the ultimate cause and generation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord. And then why he says so is explaining in this next verse. Misidentification of oneself and others as I and you on the basis of bodily concept of life is a product of ignorance. This bodily concept is the cause of repeated birth and death, and it makes us go on continuously in material existence. Swapniya va bhati, swapniya, like a dream. Abhati appears. So the reason why now Kubera is giving a transcendental perspective to everything that has happened. So when we say something is in this material world, good and bad, sin and virtue, all these are all descriptions that are within the larger dream in the mind of the living entities of so-called stories of life of each one of us. Material world is not a dream. Material energy is not a dream. The dreamer is not an illusion. The dreamer is true. This body is true. This world is true. But I say that I am this body, and that is identified here. Not only I am this body, you are your body, I am my body. And in this way we have identified ourselves and everybody else as their bodies. And we create a world centered around the bodily concept. But still, where is the dream? All this bodily concept is in the mind. So it is misidentification of the self. Ego is very important. Ego is an individuality. It is the identity of each one of us. False ego is bad, but ego is not bad. The ego in the false ego is also the ego. Ego means the soul. So, that sense of I, what is the absolute feeling of I of each one of us? Absolute feeling is, I am servant of Krishna. Now we think we are this body. We identify ourselves with this body. And as Prabhupada says, that identification is a foundation of entire material life. You have your story of life. I have my story of life. You have. Each one of us have our story of life. Why we say it's story of life? Because it is a meaning that we have created based on the fundamental seed of. In a story you need characters, no? Characters relate together. That's called story. The character itself is a drama character. I am this body. So we are rooted in that. We don't think for a second we are not this body. From childhood, as we grow, this is the way material nature, Maya, has created the material existence. Krishna has created this material existence, and Maya is facilitating each one of us to have a false identity and see everybody else as their false identity. So everyone in the material world is in a common illusion that he is his body. His identity is that of his body. But his true identity is that his spirit ego is not this material body at all. He is a spirit ego who has a spiritual body. Now, mistaking that spiritual body to be this material body, he creates the story of life. So, life has the meaning of life as a child grows into a boy or a girl and then to adult, then maintains the life, reproduces, dwindles, then leaves the body. So this is the story of all living entities in this material world. And each of us think that our life is permanent. This is my life. But all the misreadings, everything else, the foundation is wrong. Then the story is all illusion. What is the foundation here? Aham and Tvam. I am my body, you are your body. That is why everybody is in the same illusions, therefore one does not detect. Everybody says something is lies. Something lie is true. If everybody says, then in their world it becomes true. So I am thinking I am the body, you are thinking you are the body, everybody is thinking you are the body. So then I am the body is a truth. Illusion. But are we really the body? That is another question. In our drama world, we are the bodies. Body is not thinking, I am the body. I am thinking, I am the body. I am separate from the body. I have taken the dress of a body and I am playing the drama of a body. Just like in a drama, you take the dress of a king, then you act like a king. Then suddenly you look into the mirror, then you feel, okay, I am king. Exactly the same way, we also, the society is our mirror. Society looks at us as body from childhood. So I am my body. You see how so clearly we can make out that material life is actually illusion. Illusion means what? It's not that there is no meaning in illusion. If you tell a story or imagine a story, it has a storyline, it has a script, there is meaning, there are characters, and it is not unintelligible. A story is a story. Just like in our real life. Only when you see from a different perspective, you see that these bodies are not eternal. And we are all thinking we are the body. And we are creating a world out of that body. World out of that body for what? Because we are all beings of rasa. As soon as we want independent existence, existence means relationship. Existence means rasa. Existence means power, love, knowledge, pleasure, freedom. This is existence. So in the spiritual world, we have all these things. It is very natural for the soul to have all these kind of relationships. An existence, a meaningful existence, an intelligible existence. So a child that is born endeavors as he grows to make a meaningful existence for himself. Meaningful relationship, father, mother, friends, society. But all that is based on one lie, I am the body. Because when the moment the body dies, you realize, oh, I was not the body. That means my entire story, that means I is a real person. I is a real thinker, feeler, willer. I is the experiencer. The soul is the experiencer. I am the body is only as one lie. And my entire soul lives a life for that one lie about myself. So what is the value of each of our individual life? Per se, you become a great man, you become rich, you are poor. So many roles. All the roles are same. Because at the end, it's all like a bubble, it bursts. My previous life story doesn't continue in this life. But when I was leaving that body, I was thinking that is my life. So only thing is, in all these lives, you are experiencing rasa. That is the truth. To experience sense gratification, rasa. But it's over. Experience and over is forgotten. Suppose you were in a female body in your previous life. How you enjoyed, what you enjoyed, all those things, they're not going to continue in this life. It is gone. Suppose you are a very rich man in previous life. You had so much influence in society. Moment death, you get born in another body. A new life begins, new story begins. So with respect to individual soul, these life stories are all irrelevant and temporary. It doesn't stick to the soul. That is called detachment. To understand this is called detachment. It doesn't stick to the soul. This is not my permanent story. Take it with a pinch of salt. So now what is okay, we understand we are all lost in a fundamental illusion, I am the body. Because I live for myself. I is important. Soul cannot be killed. For each one of us, I is important. Yes or no? For you, your I is important. For you, your I is important. The foundation of existence is I. So when we move out of this, I am this body, to I am eternal servant of Krishna, Jivere Surupoe, Krishnere Nitya Dasa. When we act on that platform, when we think on that platform, feel on that platform, then you realize you are the servant of Krishna. Even if you think, I am playing the drama in this world, the world sees me as my body and I have to see the world as their body to relate with them. It does not matter, because your thinking, your feeling, your willing, your relationship, everything is based on I am servant of Krishna. So self-realization means constantly to think and live as servant of Krishna. Automatically one goes out of the bodily concept of life. I am eternal servant of Krishna. It doesn't change this body or that body. And how do we come into this situation? Why did we come into this situation of changing bodies and thinking I am something which I am not at all? Because of false egoism. Egoism is a feeling that I want to be independent. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. As part and parcel of Krishna, part and parcel means we have no existence apart from Him. So if we have to have an existence apart from Him, it has to be only a drama, illusion. In reality, you cannot be, you are something, you cannot be something else. You are Amsha of Krishna. The moment there is false egoism, sense of independent existence, immediately the material energy captures the living entity, gives a body, and then you identify with that body. Then you live independently with that body. That body has all the characteristics of the spiritual body, all the tendencies, everything to facilitate as if it is spiritual body, and we live in illusion. But body is body, it is not spiritual body. So its nature shows up, birth, death, old age and disease. But when we live in this body, we always think that it doesn't die. We don't think of all the problems, diseases that can come in our body when everything is fine. We don't want the body the physical phenomena to disturb us in any way. We don't want a stomach ache, we don't want a headache, we don't want a pain. So we're trying to imitate life in a spiritual body. But because it is unconstitutional to be independent of Krishna, then we cannot. Because it is unconstitutional, it cannot be fulfilled. Amsha has to serve the Purna. The living entity, every living entity has to ultimately serve Krishna. If they don't serve Krishna in the spiritual way, they have to serve Krishna in the material way. And that is where here a very broad perspective Kubera is giving. Even Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that all these people are already killed. What he meant was, Kala is acting. Kala is a very proper trans. He says Kala is a special feature. One of the features of the Lord is ultimately responsible for everything that is going on. Entire world is pushed moment to moment by Kala. The players in the drama have free will within the drama, but that free will within the drama is also, because three modes of material nature is predictable. One who is a Trikalagnya, one who knows present, past and future, can actually see the milestones, how this world will go on. Just like whether people sin or not sin or whatever it may be, the 4 yugas will come and go. That is decided. And those 4 yugas, characteristics of the living entities. What kind of living entity should be put into the yugas, in each yuga? That is all under the Daiva Netrena, from divine arrangement. But the fact is that This world will see Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. This world will see golden period of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within Kali Yuga. So Kala is a feature of the Lord. Lord is inconceivable. His mind is inconceivable. Just like we have our stories, life stories. Krishna has his eternal life story. And that is not a story, that is reality. So if you go into that eternal story of Krishna and be part of it, then it will completely satisfy us. I am spirit soul, I have a spiritual body. Every one of us has a spiritual body. Now in this material life itself, if we realize 24 hours we act only on service of Krishna, automatically you see that our Prabhupada says our material body will be converted into spiritual body. You'll get spiritualized. Because this material world by itself is not false. It is real. The illusion is, we have created this illusion. That's why we start mental speculation, you become self-realized. Stop mental speculations. Mental speculation means don't create a world in your mind. See the real world as it is. Bodily concept is a concoction. This body anyway is not Satchidananda, but still I am projecting it as Satchidananda. When you see the real, when you come in touch with Satchidananda substance, deity, holy name, automatically this idea of identity to material bodies automatically vanishes. You don't have to be a jnani to give up the bodily concept of life. When there is light, then there is no darkness. So when there is awakening of what is actually Chinmaya form, Chinmaya identity, then automatically you don't see Jada identities. Because Jada identity is in the mind. That's what this verse is saying, this identity. Krishna is the central point and all of us are his part and parcel, just as hands and legs are part and parcel of the whole body. When you actually come to this understanding of being eternally related to Supreme Lord, this distinction which is based on bodily concept of life, that means there is a unique individuality to each of us, but that individuality is not the individuality of the body. Difference in bodies are not the individuality that is absolute. It's a false individuality. Out of that false individuality, I am creating a false story of life. The example can be cited here with the hand is the hand, leg is the leg, but both of them engage in service of the whole body. There is no distinction between hands and legs. For all of them belong to the whole body and all parts working together constitute the whole body. So the body is separate, the soul is separate, the body is body. Body is body. It's a material body. Just like the camera is a camera, it's a material body. It is not body of anybody. It is not body of anybody. But we are all thinking, these are all bodies of yours. This body is yours, this body is yours, this body is mine. So that my body, mama, my body, aham, I am this body. This is the story that we are living in this material world. This is not just philosophy. It is very easy to understand if we first of all our spiritual vocabulary builds up. How does our spiritual vocabulary build up? Name, form, activities, they're all, once there is a realization of Chinmaya form, Chinmaya body which are really owned by somebody. There is a soul. There is no soul in this camera. Or there is no soul owning this. This body is not the body of a soul. Here also, I say this is my body, but actually it is lies. My body is an eternal body. Chinmaya Sharira. My nature is always to have a body. So therefore I believe this is the body because no alternate body is there. But actually in the spiritual world you have Chinmaya body. Then you are not in illusion. Chinmaya body is your eternal identity. And in the eternal world is not temporary. Nobody loses their body. Their body identities are eternal. They are eternally engaged in devotion service of the Lord. So material world is a world of repeated birth and death, and each life we take one particular unfolding of our life according to our karma, and then we die. But we have an eternal life. We all like to be eternal. We want eternal love, we want eternal pleasure, we want eternal knowledge, we want eternal meaning. What is this meaninglessness? What is this meaninglessness? Nobody can. One way to preach is to shake people. Tell them, what is the meaning of your life? Why were you born? Why you are dying? In between is so important for you, my life. You given your prana, everything. For everybody's life is important. But all those details of who am I, my father, my mother, my children, my family, my society, my wealth, my property, all are lies. Because I expect them, I expect stability, eternity, Sat. My nature is Sat. When I see my body is growing old, it creates a disturbance for my soul. Oh, it is Asat. I am going to die. When you are a child, you never think you are going to die. But slowly as you grow up, you see Kala killing everybody. But still it doesn't dawn upon us. The illusion. The illusion will dawn only when there is light. Going on seeing the illusion, you will never come out of the illusion. The way to come out of the illusion is only by positively touching Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is so simple it is. That energy has to flow into our consciousness. Light flows, darkness vanishes. When there is flow of realization of transcendental name, form, activities of the spiritual world, of Krishna, then automatically you walk in this world not seeing form, names as forms and names, but as only symbols. Vocabulary that creates a story for us. It's only an imagination. I am this body is an imagination. Where is the imagination? Not in the body. Not in the body. Body is faultless. I am the problem. When I say I am the body, I am in the problem. I am in illusion. When I say I am not the body, I am liberated. Soul is always separate from the body, whether in illusion or not in illusion. Soul is always separate from the body. So bodily concept is very important. Spiritually should understand. Any spiritual should understand There's a difference between the phone and the phone in my mind. There's a difference between a pen outside and a pen in my mind. Pen in my mind is not the pen. I am the body is a concept of the body outside. Body is like the pen. Pen is there is a concept of pen in the mind. Similarly, body is Satya. The idea of body in my mind is also Satya. But in my mind I add one more thing. What is that? I am this body. You take this analogy and understand, very important. The concept of the pen is not equal to the pen. So I am imagining that I am the body and I am living. I am imagining my body should be permanent. I am imagining that body should not be sick. That I am imagining that body should be always in Ananda. Imagining, that is different from the pen outside. It is birth, death, old age, disease. Why I am imagining? Because my natural body is Chinmaya body. But now I am disentitled for the Chinmaya body. Why? Because Chinmaya body has to exist as part and parcel of the entire spiritual world. Like hands and legs cooperate and work together. That has been completely, the moment we want independent existence, we forget Krishna. That means there is no question of living entity. There is only one truth in total existence. Krishna. And that Krishna includes us also. Includes marginal energy, external energy, internal energy, all including is Krishna, one packet. That is Param Satya. A whole. And it's very difficult to conceive Krishna. A hole which you take out a hole is still another hole is there. From a hole, sometimes we understand Ishavasya idam sarvam. A hole is there, you take out a part, 1 minus 1 is 1, still 1. You take 1, you take half out of it. If this still remains 1. That is easy to first level understanding. Another quality of Krishna is what? 1 minus 1 is 1. That means from this one, another 1 full comes. Still 1 is 1. This is the idea of God. This is the idea of Sarvakarna Karna. This is the idea of Krishna. It is not one standard creation made and kept and that's it. Even ordinarily now telescope, you look at the night, is unlimited practically, even material universe. Unlimitedness is ever expanding. Energies from Krishna is coming out also, ever expanding. So this is the understanding of Isha, the Supreme Lord. So we are, and then it is so amazing that one Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person and we are also persons and we have an eternal relationship with Him. No philosophy can marvel the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. No. Intellectually nothing can marvel, even intellectually. Everything is complete in that understanding. So coming back to this trap of bodily concept of life. If you can constantly differentiate between concept and the thing outside, then you will see the body as body, not as I am the body. If you see the body as body, no problem. Let me engage the body in service of Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktivedanta. I'll see the body as body, but not as my body. The body is meant for my purposes, but that my is, I am servant of Krishna. So I am servant of Krishna. To serve that my, this body is useful. Let me engage in this body. What is that? First is I come out of the illusion, I am this body. Let me now engage, use this body to bring everybody out of this illusion. That is preaching. You are all servant of Krishna. My life has changed by changing. My identity as servant of Krishna. I am already dead. I don't have to die again. Because I as a servant of Krishna never dies. Krishna is eternal, I am eternal. My spirit ego is a real substance in this body that never dies. Body will die. I am deathless. As we practice spiritual life, begin to practice spiritual life, the first happiness that comes is that I am eternal. Oh, I don't die. The first thing in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna teaches. I don't die. Body dies. If I don't die, then who is my eternal friend? Who is my eternal relative? What is my eternal life? Next question comes. What is my eternal activity? So anyway, Jnanis, they try from the negative side. I want to be eternal, body is temporary, so I am not the body. Like that. But we come from the other side. We associate with Krishna and we get an inkling of Chinmaya Rupa, Chinmaya existence, and get an inkling, and that awakens in our soul, because it's very natural to me to have a deathless body. It's very natural for me to have a Satchidananda Vigraha. So that natural tendency comes. You expect naturally you see, how can I be this body? This body is only an instrument which I can use now to serve the Supreme Lord. So those who associate with the Supreme Satchidananda, chanting and hearing nicely, all these things become obvious realization. You don't need a jnanic exercise to come out of all these things. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You should have Shraddha. That infinite jnana is there in this nama. Shakti Avesha Nama, Jnana Shakti, Bhakti Shakti, Vairagya Shakti. All Shakti that is required for self-realization is in this nama. I have to make sure my soul, my chitta touches this nama continuously. Any questions? Sorry, it's taken 9:40. I didn't know.
Harish.
Bell didn't ring? Bell rang. Okay.
Harish. Recently, 3 months back, three Nobel laureates were given the prize for proving that universe is not simultaneously real and what's that? Real and existing, something like that. I'm not real and local. Okay. So for the scientists who are natural to understand the mechanistic view of life, where they don't believe anything like soul or anything like that, for them, probably it is easy to accept a Brahman or one observer. Because moment one observer comes in, then it's like they are seeing that everything has kind of energy and that illusion is getting burst or something like that. So how do we, counter that and the need for two observers in the way they can understand?
See, they cannot, though science began as understanding objective reality. Today, because of the quantum mechanics, they jumped to the other extreme to say that there is nothing objective. Objective is with respect to individual observers. And that is what this, it's such a misleading thing. The three Nobel laureates have found that there is nothing reality. There is no reality. But even according to them, no reality of an object. But there is a probability of a reality. There is an energy behind it. That energy is, according to their definition, that is not reality. But according to us, that energy is Mahatattva. It is an objective reality. It's an energy. Energy is also reality. When the energy takes into, just like mud, out of mud you make mud pots, you make mud lamps and all those things. So let's say, they were, once upon a time, they were thinking that, yes, this mud lamp is objective reality. This pot is another reality. And finally they realized that no, all these things are mud. So therefore mud pot doesn't exist, mud doesn't exist. We already knew that. But what about the energy? Energy is also reality. According to them, reality is only what your five senses can catch, what an instrument can catch. But the energy is also Satya. So that Krishna's energy is Satya. And another mistake that they do is just because you are observing, few people are, just like they say, does the moon exist if you don't look at the moon? There are multiple observers and they are all absolute. So if I create, by observation, if I create a form, there's a probability of an electron. By my observation, I create a manifestation of an electron. Manifestation means measurable electron. Other one is an immeasurable electron. Measurable electron. I create a measurable electron. Somebody else looks at it and he also creates a measurable. Till you measure, it is a probability of a wave energy. It's an equation, it's an energy equation. Then it becomes a specific. So what they're basically saying, there is no absolute specific forms, names, everything. Which we are also saying that Krishna's energy is there. And not only that, that is about electron. What about this? Why I am seeing this? Why you are seeing this? Why you are seeing the sun? Why you are seeing the moon? Because that energy The Lord as the all-pervading observer has collapsed. That means He creates through His mystic potency, He creates the planets. He creates all these things out of that Mahat Tattva. In the beginning of creation, everything is undifferentiated energy, that is Mahat Tattva. That energy starts getting into forms, planetary systems and all those things. So, that is also, God is also an observer. So, you cannot explain, immediately we can today they are in a conundrum. What is this reality? It's not that just theoretically I can see. Theoretically I can see if I don't see the moon doesn't exist. That's what today's equation says. But the truth is that, whether I see or you see, moon is there for somebody else. So they're trying to work out and therefore they cannot explain. They're bewildered. My equation says, in their equation, they do not have the observer called Paramatma. If they have an observer called Paramatma, there is one prime living entity who is an observer, who is a creator, because of whom, whether you observe or not, moon is there. Because he has observed out of Mahat Tattva, by his glance, by his will, moon is created, sun is created, bodies are created, Panchabhutas are created. So objective reality is a reality which is the wave function collapsed by the glance of Paramatma. So in their equation there is no Paramatma, therefore they will always be bewildered. Paramatma is a reality which is described in the Shastras. And when Bhagavatam, Krishna says, even your experience also, you cannot taste without Paramatma tasting first. Atma in this material world can experience spiritual life only because of Paramatma is inside. This world is run by Paramatma and Atma together. We are an illusion. We don't think that when I am speaking, Paramatma is by combined action of Paramatma and me as a soul, Atma and Paramatma, the Atma is able to experience everything about himself due to his inseparable association with Paramatma, who is creating an opportunity for us, this illusory life. So, Paramatma is a reality everywhere. Within that's why Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastam. See, sometimes we wonder what is the need for Paramatma to be inside each atom. Each living entity is okay. In each atom. Atom will not be atom if Paramatma is not there. So Lord's unlimited features are there. His feature as Paramatma, a Lord in the heart of the living entity, is another feature as a Lord in the atom. Another feature, Lord as the Kala. Everywhere it is His Vibhuti that is making this world run. This is my take on that. Quantum mechanics. If we have to understand what our Shastra says, you have to accept that there is an observer whom you have not seen. Paramatma. Therefore, this world is a reality, temporary reality. According to them, temporary also not reality. Only when you see it is there. Equation is correct. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।